So, another newsy day for North Carolina football because not only did a quarterback leave the Tar Heels while never taking a snap in a game, yeah, that's the thing that happened. Ryan Browne decided to transfer away from UNC, but Bo Atkinson entered the portal, and that's the real big news here. I'll get to Browne in a moment because I think that it's interesting to say the least, but Bo Atkinson is arguably the best defensive lineman available in the transfer portal. And he might be one of the biggest defensive linemen that move in the entire portal cycle when you factor in the winter months, winter weeks of transfers moving around as well, which we should just do away with altogether. But hey, what the heck do I know? I just talk about the sport every day. So one day, boy can dream. I used to dream that they do something about the fake injuries. Hey, what do you know? We've got a rule. Can't do it. Once the ball's spotted, nope, you're not going down to slow down the tempo of an offense or get a stoppage or anything like that. So maybe, perhaps, possibly, there is hope. But one of the biggest defensive linemen who moved last year in the spring window was Derek Harmon. He went from Michigan State to Oregon and was a key cog in that Ducks defense as they won the Big Ten. And he's about to be probably a first-round draft pick in the NFL cycle. Yeah, Atkinson is that sort of guy. This is a multi-year player who was wildly experienced and going to play you a clip from Brian Smith of The Portal, who is a longtime recruiting analyst. I don't know people that break down film and players better than Brian. Here's what he has to say on Bo Atkinson, who's looking at Georgia, by the way. Georgia. I'm so interested with Georgia because I'm just sitting here wondering, are they going to get back to being what the Bulldogs were when they won back-to-back national championships and almost a third, but couldn't beat Bama in the SEC championship game? Because, they could throw the ball with Carson Beck and Stetson Bennett, but they could run the ball a lot, and they played more dominant defense than they did the last couple of years. Yeah, I have a sneaky suspicion they're going to get back to it here. But Atkinson is one of their big-time targets. Here's why, in the words of Brian Smith.
North Carolina defensive end Beau Atkinson is in the transfer portal, and he will be one of the more heavily coveted players coming off the edge. 35 tackles, 7.5 sacks last year for this defender from the Tar Heels. And it's not just a guy that bends the edge and runs players down. He'll come from the inside. He will spin off a player. He will move around and still make plays. 3rd down and 6, you better know where Bo Atkinson is at. And he's going to have an opportunity to get more snaps next year. He wasn't always a primary player for the Tar Heels, yet he put up those numbers. Let's see what Bo Atkinson does at his next school. A couple other points about him that are really important. The motor never stops. He's going to be contagious for your defense. The locker room's going to like him, and he's a guy that the other team has to scheme against. Again, 3rd down and 6, you better know where Bo Atkinson is at, because if you don't, this is a player that can cause some problems. As Florida State, among many other teams last year, he was a one-man wrecking crew. And finally, this is a player that's got another valuable year of experience to utilize and add to his repertoire for pass rushing moves. Bo Atkinson is somebody to watch in the transfer portal.
Yeah, and he's not the only Tar Heel that recently entered the portal or did something transfer related with North Carolina. So Ryan Browne goes out. Gio Lopez officially comes in for the Tar Heels. Lopez transfers in from South Alabama, where he just had a good season with the Jaguars. And North Carolina reportedly, once upon a time, was looking at Nico Iamaleava. And in a shocking turn of events, I can't believe this happened personally. Bill Belichick didn't go for the big, flashy, more expensive superstar caliber guy. He went for the crafty, gadgety, under-the-radar, make-it-work, overperform expectations guy. Who could have foreseen? Who could have possibly foreseen that was going to be the case? So Lopez is going to be the starting quarterback for the Tar Heels this year. He's, from what I've read and heard, he's making around $1.6 million or so in NIL, roughly. I don't know if that number's been confirmed, but that's kind of the going rate for a quality quarterback, but he's coming from the group of 5 ranks. And by the way, he might be getting more money than what Nico's going to get from UCLA. Might. I don't know. I don't know what the offer is from UCLA at this time, but I don't think the offer is going to get bigger as time goes on. I think it's going to get smaller and maybe from a lower caliber school. But North Carolina brings in Gio Lopez, and I mean, we'll see. Maybe I'll end up being wrong on North Carolina. Their win total is 7.5. I would hammer that under while you still can. I think it's going to drop to 6.5 eventually. I have seen this happen in the last couple of years with win totals, according to our friends at FanDuel. I'm just saying, like, that with Bill Belichick coaching for the first time in a couple of years and coaching in college football for the first time and being potentially average, which is fine, nothing wrong with average at the quarterback position. Does that scream, 8-9 wins? Their schedule is really favorable. I'll give you that, but I don't know how good the Tar Heels are going to be. I do not have big expectations whatsoever in Bill Belichick's first year. Maybe there will be signs of growth. I think the recruiting efforts are pretty solid. I got to give him that. And you know what? That's a non-zero indicator of where a program could be headed under a head coach in the coming years. But a couple other portal names just to keep your eye on. Ryan Browne from North Dakota State was their leading rusher last year. The FCS has been hit pretty hard. Pretty darn hard. That's a running back who's in the transfer portal, is definitely one of the 5 to 7 best guys available at his position. 24/7 Sports thinks so. The running back market isn't huge in this transfer portal cycle. Jaden Ott is the biggest name that has moved. He went from Cal to Oklahoma. I think that's a wonderful pickup for the Sooners. But keep your eye on Brown. Curious to see where he ends up. But speaking of Brown, that's Browne. But Ryan Browne, Browne, the quarterback, is another one of these guys who transfers to a school and he's transferring out before he ever actually played for the school, which is just a wild concept to me. I'm someone who's in the process of moving right now. Did he move a bunch of stuff? Did he go across the country? Like, how far into the process of fully relocating from Purdue to North Carolina did he get before he realized, nope, I'm going somewhere else? Brown's an interesting guy. Did not have a great year at Purdue last year because nobody had a good year at Purdue, and he didn't want to stick around with the coaching change in there. I don't blame him. Don't know that Barry Odom would have made him the starter necessarily. This is a guy who screams find a solid group of 5 starting quarterback job to me, because wasn't super high completion percentage. He didn't play the whole year. Really mobile, though. Really, really dangerous with his legs. I think if you dropped him down to, like, I don't know if Tulane would go after him. They might give him a look, though. Tulane's been tied to Jaden Rashada before, to Nico, but they pulled out. Ryan Browne could be a name that John Summerall goes after. And Tulane, of course, is a program that is capable of making the college football playoff if they have a great season. But he's someone to me that screams, get to the Sun Belt, get to the Mountain West Conference, and run wild. I think he could absolutely, positively run wild. He's got high in mobility, needs to develop as a passer. Only way you can get that is if you get reps, of course. So what a week in the portal. Oh, by the way, it's open next week too. More coming your way. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. And until then, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.